Imagine a world where algorithms decide justice or digital identities outpace legal recognition. This isn't science fiction. This is our present. Law and technology are no longer separate domains. They are the co-authors of our future. Welcome to a special edition of the Global Lawyer podcast. Today we are stepping out of our usual studio and into the heart of digital law itself, where groundbreaking legal content is created and the future of technology and law are actively shaped. This episode is unique. Not only are we recording in person, but I'm joined by two remarkable guests, a father and daughter duo whose impact on the digital legal landscape reaches from Brazil to the world stage. He, Professor Renato Opice Blum, is a trailblazer in digital law, technology, and data privacy. He is a lawyer and economist, a professor at the most prestigious universities and educational institutions in Brazil, arbitrator, president of key institutions such as the Brazilian Data Protection Association and the Technology Law Association, and he is also chair of the New Technologies, Neurorights, and Artificial Intelligence Studies Committee at the São Paulo Lawyers Institute, our IASP. His extensive professional background reflects his multifaceted expertise in the intersection of law, technology, and data privacy. Also, his roles in academic instruction at prestigious institutions and leadership positions in various legal and technology committees and associations has helped define how courts and policymakers approach everything from AI to data privacy, not to mention his role and his involvement as arbitrator and his contribution to the field through authorship and participation in over 20 works focused on these critical subjects. She, Renata Faria Lima Opice Blum, fresh from participating in iTech Law 2025 in San Diego, California, brings a new generation's perspective to global conversations on law and technology, AI governance, blockchain, and algorithmic accountability. Renata is a lawyer and has been recently appointed for the Brazilian Bar Association Ethics Court at the São Paulo chapter as a defender. Together, these two bridge generations of legal expertise and innovation. Renata, thank you so much. This is just not just an interview, this is a conversation in the very space where you create the legal frameworks and the This is not just an interview, it's a conversation in the very space where legal frameworks meet cutting-edge technology. So let's dive in. And I'll start with a question for you, Renato. What we see today is that the law isn't just reacting to technology. Law, it's shaping its ethical backbone. From neurorights to blockchain compliance, this is a moment to redefine what justice means in the digital age. You have played a pivotal role in shaping digital law in Brazil and beyond. What do you see as the most transformative legal development in technology over this past decade?
First of all, Marina, thank you so much. I really appreciate the invitation, especially being here with my daughter. And congratulations for all what you have done for all these years.
Oh, thank you. We have done it together.
Yeah. And I need to say that, when you bring technology, especially in this kind of conversation in English, we are talking about innovation. You are innovating right now with this new framework here. But what we are facing right now is, I'd like to bring three different points of view, but let's bring together. First of all, we have a huge power in technology right now. More and more technology everywhere, every time. The second point, we have a different, and we are facing a changing in the concept of time. So we are facing a different concept of time as well. The time is getting shorter and the technology is coming faster. And the third point is that we have more power on all these issues right now. So we have technology, we have time, and we have power. And all of us, we are in this complex environment that is being more and more complex every day, every time. We depend. Now we need technology in all kinds of works, of jobs. And especially in the legal field, we are facing a very huge challenge. And I'd like to split into different scenarios. The first one is that the regulation scenario. And in this very soon future, and nobody knows what's going on, of course we will need regulation. A very different kind of regulation. I used to say to my students that the law will become different very soon. We're going to reshape the legal scenario, the legal educational, the legal field. But we will have regulation as we have in Europe right now, with all the discussions, if it's so too deep or not, strong or not, doesn't matter. But we are going to have regulation. Right now, Brazil has a specific bill of law regarding artificial intelligence. That is the point that is most discussed right now. And the other point is not about regulation, but it's about how the humans, I used to say in all my lectures right now, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, humans. So I think it's weird, but we are humans. And at this morning, I was reading a news about an airline company that is offering right now, this airline, the possibility to talk to a human. So the human's coming back. It's weird, no? But let's go back to the humans. The humans will need to understand very fast, and that's the most difficult point, this disruption. And I would like to say that there's a lot of professions, they will be hugely changed. And the biggest and the most difficult challenge is, are we able to challenge all these jobs and professions in the right time? Because as I said, the time is becoming shorting, the technology is coming faster, and the power is together. So we will be able to pivot and to change in the right time. So that's the two very interesting and important and challenging scenarios that I'm facing right now. Working with digital law, data protection, and right now with artificial intelligence, but for more than 27 years, the biggest difference that I see right now is the time and the powerful of technology. So let's say if you bring to discussion OpenAI, ChatGPT, that came to us in early 2023, and it was the most downloaded app. In 2 months, there was 100 million downloaded. So it's we're discussing this for 2 years and a bit, so it's not too long, but it's part of our lives right now. And when I used to say to my students, do you know how to talk or to use all these tools? Because people are using that. And I used to bring their attention, did you read the terms of use? And I forgot this time, but I'm used to turn on an app. I'm going to turn on TwinMind. Right now, TwinMind is an AI app that's starting to listen our discussion, and it's coming to suggest some specific points about it. But when I ask to my students, do you know the consequences? Do you know the legal points regarding the use of a new tool, specifically AI tool? And going to the end, I know that I speak a lot, I talk a lot. Sorry about that. But there's an app called DeepSeek. DeepSeek, right?
Chinese.
The Chinese one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good app, by the way. But when I ask to my students, do you know the terms of use? The data protection issues right there. And I must say that there are basically 2 points. The first point, everything that you do using this app will be stored in China, and everything will be stored. That's it. Is it safe? It could be, but people are aware of all these points.
It's not yours anymore.
It's not yours anymore. And do we have any hope to deal with this? Because what I'm trying to say is it's becoming difficult to the society to understand the consequences of the use of technology. AI, for instance, could be addictive. And AI is not actually intelligent.
Yes, that's a fascinating point. And I would say that it's AI, it's beyond a tool. Because a tool is something that you use and that allows you to predict what is going to happen next. Because you are going to give instructions to the tool. So it's like a coffee machine, you give instructions and then it produces what you expect it to produce. With AI, we have no control. So they are agents. In fact, AI is an agent, and we must not forget that AI is not one single entity. Very soon, we will have many artificial intelligence interacting with one another. And this is one of the unpredictable events that we have to be able to tackle with time, and also not to mention time and power, because I think those three they go together. It's very, very interesting. It's as fascinating as daunting, and it is something to think about. Now, moving to a global stage and to the trends or concerns that are capturing international attention. So, Renata, this one is for you. Having just attended iTech Law in 2025, what global trends or concerns in digital law stood out to you as most urgent or promising? There's a good and a bad, it's a positive and a negative side for that. So what do you have to say about that?
First, thank you for having me, for having us. It's a pleasure to be here, especially alongside my father, who's also my biggest professional inspiration. So trends. I think it's impossible to mention trends or what's hot right now and not talk about AI. I'm sure that the biggest topic at iTech Law and the ABA, which is also a conference that we were at 2 weeks before, the American Bar Association, is AI regulation. When you have a conference like iTech Law, when you have so many people from different nations, naturally you have many different approaches to AI regulation. So what was interesting is that we got so many different outlooks and approaches on what that regulation would look like. So, for instance, we had American attorneys who were confused as to how to approach that, considering the political scenario right now that's more favorable to less regulation, but when you're really technical, you don't think that's a good idea. You also have European lawyers who are naturally also more favorable to regulation, as they were the pioneers in the AI Act, EU AI Act. You have attorneys from, for instance, China, who also, sometimes we think that China is, since they are releasing so many different AIs and they're pivoting innovation, that they're not having regulation, but the truth is they're actually very regulated, which is interesting because it's kind of a countersense. And then you also have attorneys from Latin America, especially, we saw a lot of attorneys from Ecuador. We had some from Peru, and majority were Brazilians, who, as we like to say, Latin American, especially South America, is like a mix of so many different cultures. So you have naturally also different approaches to AI regulation. But Brazil is one of the main protagonists in AI regulation. We have our Bill 2338.
That's it.
From 2023, which is a promising bill that we were also very happy to speak upon about. But in synthesis, I think that AI regulation was the biggest topic, but also followed by things like synthetic voices was a thing that we also heard about, especially synthetic voices made by AI. We saw a lot of data protection is still very much talked about now in the realm of AI. There's a lot of aspects relating to the crypto economy, so blockchain, crypto, CBDCs, which is a super interesting topic that I personally really like.
Yes, you can dive into that. You
Absolutely. But I think that those would be the three biggest ones.
Thank you.
Marina, sorry but I think there's an interesting point that I could go deeper. Tell what happened when you mentioned in that the huge discussion, that big table about the use of AI in the judiciary here in Brazil. Remember that?
Yeah, so what's really interesting about these conferences is you get like situations like roundtables, which they throw in a topic and you have to discuss the topic without any previous knowledge of the matter. And one of those roundtable topics that we were at was the use of AI by judges and the judiciary branch in general. And we were talking about how Brazil has procedures on how judges should use AI since 2020. Which is amazing.
Which is amazing.
Right?
It's early.
It's super early. And that was we had a really positive shock because, first of all, people aren't really aware of how advanced Brazil is, especially in this area. And second, because even now, when AI has already been in society for quite some time, lots of countries that are technically more technologically advanced don't have anything like that. So it was really good to see our country as one of the main influencing countries in that conversation.
Yes, we are well advanced on that. I believe they've been surprised.
Yeah, they were.
yeah, that's good, because it's not always that we see Brazil in such a position.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, bridging the gap between theoretical knowledge and real-world technological shifts. And this one is for you, Renato. As someone deeply involved in both academia and practice, how do you bridge the gap between legal theory and the fast-evolving realities of technology in your work? Because you're so dynamic and you seem to be everywhere, every time, with everyone. And how do you feel that?
What I can see right now, I love to teach, is a connection, very strong and automatically connection between the academia, the universities, and the practice. I'm used to say that I learn a lot when I teach. And sometimes, as I said, I turn on this app most of all the classes that I'm used to teach. And I'm used to talk with AI apps, AI tools. And what I can see is sometimes that the students, they get surprised with that. And this is available for everyone. But when I do that, And of course, I learn more with the students because the AI tools bring more topics and the students bring another topics and I can remember other ones. So all together in a more powerful education environment. And all that discussions and all that culture, all that content that we have in a lecture or in a classroom, we automatically bring to what we do in our work, in a contract, in a project, in a analysis, in a claim. And Tata have Renata. Tata is her nickname as a father.
Yeah.
Lovely nickname. Tata brought the discussion about artificial voice. We are facing right now a real case regarding a voice that is similar to a human voice, a synthetic voice that is similar to. There's a lawsuit, two lawsuits that we're working on it right now. In the academy, we can try to find more information, more cases, more case law as well. And we did that, by the way, the ITech law. And we found one case in China that Tata could mention later. But we brought this discussion to our practice. So, and we are facing right now something that we are deeply involved. That is the international experience and case law, international case law, the compared law, coming to our daily lives as a professional, as an attorney, as a judge, as a prosecutor. So right now, going directly to your question, academia and the practices, they are connected. And when a student or anyone who wants to develop your career asks to me what to do, I'm used to say, we're not going to finish university anymore.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Every day.
This is a strong one.
Every day we need to learn more and more. We are not going to get a bachelor diploma, graduation anymore.
Yes. And what you are saying is it's really compelling, because for what I've seen since the end of 2022, because I went to the US in December 2022, when they were everyone was already using the ChatGPT, and then I started talking to a colleague of mine, a dear friend of mine who also happens to be a lawyer, and she works there, and we started talking about the use the smart use of this tool. Let's consider it as let's for now think of it as a tool, only a tool, not because it is also an agent. And when I came back to Brazil in January, and then in February, people started talking about, have you downloaded yet? Have you downloaded it? And do you use it? Are you interacting with it? And what I realized is that the most intelligent persons I knew were interacting with the AI. And the most criticals one who were saying, oh no, you shouldn't do that, it's going to ruin human life, and it's going to steal our jobs. And of course we had these concerns. Of course this is relevant. But what you do in at the classroom, when you talk to your intelligence, you are building stuff. You are building academic material that we are going to use later on in practice. So I think that what you keep doing that. You've done that since I've been following you for years, and I've seen you as one of these persons who embrace this opportunity and the good side of progress. Now, Renata, as a new voice in the field, And I would like you to mention again the other topic that Renato
The
mentioned
voice.
about the voice.
Yeah.
The voice, and the role of your generation in the influence and in directing digital law and technology policy. But let me know about. Tell me about the other
The
topic
case.
again. Yeah.
Okay. So it was actually at the ABA, not iTech Law, but
Yeah.
we had a panel on. We were actually attending a panel on synthetic voices, which was again a big topic. And one of the panelists was a Chinese lawyer who was talking about regulation in his country of synthetic voices. And what he said was really interesting because in a case similar to what my father mentioned of the use of synthetic voices that are similar to real human voices, he said that in China, the precedent is that you are only going to have ownership, that's not really the word, but just to make it easier, over your voice if your voice is very recognizable in a big scenario, like for example, if you're a TV personality or whatever. And if you separate that voice from all of the outside chatter and whatever, you can pinpoint that person to the voice. That's basically it. So if no one can tell that my voice, that synthetic voice is Renata's voice, it can really be mine, but it doesn't matter because it's not really causing me any harm or damage. So that's the precedent there. And it's interesting. I think that to me, the most interesting part is not that they have a ruling on that, but is the fact that they have precedent on that, because that just shows, the precedent takes time to be formed, that just shows how advanced they are. This is something that we're discussing now, which is already, I think, a big step for Brazil, but in other countries, it's not even mentioned. And like the use of artificial synthetic voices is already so, like, it's so a part of our daily lives. If you want to build a commercial, you have these big databases where you can get voices. Everyone's already using it, but the legal impacts are only being felt now or will be felt later in other countries. So that was a big resume on that.
Yes, very, very interesting. Yeah, so these are the new trends, and and it's also inspiring because these are challenging new situations
Yeah.
that require the interference of the law, and more than interference, but the mediation of law. And to what extent should law be the promoter or the restrictor? Should it restrict the use? What is the role of the law? It's very, very important to be aware of that.
Yeah.
What do we expect law? What role do you expect law to play in these numerous situations?
But that's why we think that the legal field will be challenging and will be changing as well. Because as you said, what to expect for a legislation that could follow not completely, but in a bit technology. So we need to regulate principles, need to regulate risks, and also sectors. And we need to change the way that we develop laws, legislation as well. We don't. It's impossible to wait 1 or 1 year and a half, maybe 2 years, to finish a legislation. We need to find another way to regulate faster than this, and that's the point that we are facing right now in Europe, because the European model, the regulation, is mostly focused on risks. Of course, we need to focus on risk, but the risks they change with the development, the technology development. So we need also to think about the principles. Maybe it could be the most important, point, principles, and also the sectors. But the most important point is to find a way to develop legislation faster. That's the main point, the most challenging issue in the legal field regarding technology.
Yes, we should take another approach to law and leave our dare to leave our comfort zone in what we believe, how we deal with the law in this field, and try and make other approaches and see on a different perspective, because only then this is a brand new environment. We have never seen that before, so we have to be open to.
If I could just add on to that,
Please.
Which is why we can't compare AI to other revolutions or other technologies that were once groundbreaking, because this is something completely different. So we were actually at another panel with a teacher, a professor from Columbia University, one of the best in the world, and she was talking about how if you wait too much to regulate AI, what's AI today won't be what AI is tomorrow or in a few hours. So you have to have some sort of basis that envelops the basics, like the principles, and then you go changing as the technology evolves. But if you wait, if you're like, oh, let me just wait for it to develop and then I'll regulate, it's never going to stop developing. And once you decide to regulate, maybe it's going to be impossible to do so because it's just already so advanced that humans can't keep up. So there's a very fine line there, and we're at a very crucial point.
Yes, and I think that we cannot afford to miss it.
Exactly.
And this is where time comes into the center of our attention, because we can't miss this opportunity. Yeah. And I think principles are a good parameter here.
And also the judiciary, Tata, probably we're going to have a different scenario, like judges connected 24 hours per day, and also connected directly to the platforms, maybe. As I like to say, law will be a different law in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think we are already answering our next question, which goes for both of you, which are exactly the greatest challenges that we are about to face. We are already facing, and that we are about to face, especially for lawmakers and legal professionals, because these are these are who are adversely affected or mostly hit by what is happening. And do you think there is a way to address it? And if so,
I think so.
Should it
we have some
be?
ways. I don't know exactly which
one.
which ones, but we have some. But we have some guesses, right? The first one is keep updated. The second one, we're gonna work more, probably. The society will be more connected and more intense. And as I said in the beginning, as most difficult is to understand this complex, connected scenario, we're gonna face, because of these difficulties, we're gonna face more litigation. And this morning I was a discussion with a colleague, and discussing about what's going on with the litigation, the lawsuits, the claims. And he said, no, we're gonna change then to do everything automatically. And I provoked him asking, but do you think we're gonna have the claims, the litigation? Because the algorithm, as you said, will avoid some situations. So we're not going to have that deal. If you don't have that deal, we're not going to have that litigation. He got surprised at this. I didn't think about it. I was trying to think, what's going on with the lawsuits, the procedure of the lawsuits. But it's another point.
Yes. Yes, maybe there's no answer right now, but we can...
Let's keep updated.
Yes, keeping updated.
Yes,
updated. I think this is key, keeping updated. And even because vocabulary and terminology and all of this stuff, because one of the questions I would like you to ask, you both, is precisely on terminology, because lawyers, businesses, and the public should become familiar with a few concepts, because every word, in fact, every term, every word is at the surface of an underlying concept, right? Especially in law, where we have the science and we have the different meanings. And so do you believe that this keeping up would or should include vocabulary, being informed and learning more? And how should we do so on a daily basis?
If you don't mind, I just like
Not
there's
at
a
all,
connection
please.
with your question. Okay, as I said, I'm using Twin Mind, and right now Twin Mind brought us 3 points. And
Oh,
look
great.
how
Oh, because it is listening to us.
how
Yeah.
smart it is.
Did he
So
get your consent?
Oh, yeah, of course. No, not at all. No problem.
most common lawsuits affected by AI-driven procedures. That's a topic. The other one, how automation is impacting legal claims and litigation rates. And the other point, key legal tech terms, lawyers should know in 2025.
That would
Yeah,
be
Let's
good.
see
precisely
this.
what we have.
Let's see. Let's
Okay.
open this. and
Okay.
we're gonna
Let's
find
see what.
deep content. Okay. So let's go for it. So AI regulation framework terms. Okay. I'm gonna summarize this. AI Act, AI agents, as you said.
Yeah.
Risk-based regulation, principle-based regulation. Going to another topic: data protection and governance, synthetic data,
Synthetic data
sovereignty, digital ownership. Another topic: emerging media and content technology, synthetic voice rights, voice recognizability standard, digital mediation. Another topic: judicial technology terms, automated education. Have you heard about it?
Yes, adjudication. Aha. Automated. Yeah, this is one of the dangers. I would say.
Digital judiciary,
Uh-huh.
platform connected judiciaries. Another topic: legal practice evolution. That's very interesting, by the way, right?
We should say that.
Yeah. Legal tech integration, rapid regulatory development, and I'm just reading the topic, okay?
Uh-huh.
Comparative AI law. Comparative. I said comparative
Comparative.
law.
Yeah.
Digital law. Oh, I'm happy to hear that. Crypto and blockchain terms, blockchain governance, NFT jurisprudence, crypto economy regulation, dynamic legal frameworks, principle focus regulation,
That's a huge list.
digital
Yes,
case law.
yeah.
And finishing, recommended approach for legal professionals. There are 6 topics that I'm going to keep this to the end, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
So did you see
can-
how
yes.
interesting is
Yes,
this one?
it is fantastic. And another one, which is digital personhood. Digital personhood, which is a concept that is rapidly gaining momentum. And because we here in Brazil, we say personalidade jurídica, and we of course we have in English legal personality, but digital personhood, it's something that goes a little bit beyond. So how would you define it? And if you don't have to define it, because I think sometimes defining is a little restricting. We don't have to exactly define, but we should reflect on that. And what legal implications might it have for individuals and organizations? This concept of digital personhood.
Just finishing up the other question on the legal terms.
Yeah.
I just sharing a personal experience. I was once very keen to memorizing and trying to fix the definitions of the legal terms, but what I've learned is that more important than knowing and memorizing and having those like by heart is actually knowing how they impact your profession, your daily life. So for example, I signed up for an AI for lawyers course like 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago. And I was waiting and I was expecting for a course that really showed me how AI would impact my profession. Not necessarily how to use those tools or how to define those terms, which is what the course turned out to be, which was very raw on what I was expecting. Maybe I was wrong to expect the wrong thing. But anyway, what I like to tell my friends who are starting their career and who ask me sometimes for advice is the technical aspects of it, like the definitions, the words, the terms. The AI will answer for you.
Yes, you don't have to
You
worry
don't
about
have-
that
But you have
anymore.
to understand how that will impact you and how those tools, as we define them, are going to impact your livelihood, how they're going to maybe take your profession, or maybe how they're going to like completely substitute you. I don't know. But I think sometimes people focus too much on, let me just get the technical, when the technical is really now available to everyone. So we have to, and is going to be even more available to everyone. So we have to focus on the lateral, which is what makes us really human. So how we behave, how we talk, how we share our experiences, and how we use the technical that is made available by AI to our lives.
Very interesting. And this is why these terms and expressions and words, they are technical, because their meaning, the meaning goes beyond the word to affect your life and how it affects you. Very, very interesting, very smart and shrewd, I would say, of you, Renata. So, as avatars and digital identities become more prevalent, what are the key issues around legal recognition and rights for these digital entities? Should avatars have identity rights, and what would that mean in practice? Of course, we don't have any definitive answer, but I would very much like to hear from you both on that.
Actually, it's a very good, interesting point, because you brought in this question the reality of a new technology, and we are already facing avatars. And if we connect avatars with AI agents, as you have mentioned in the beginning, probably in a very near future, we could have in a video, in a discussion, a conversation like this, and avatars talking to us, and also humanoids, androids as well, and apps like we are doing right now. If you consider an avatar as an extension of you, replication of a personality, not of a personality, that's not the right word, but an extension of you, like, imagine if you give a power of attorney to an avatar or to an AI agent. Actually, this discussion I'm bringing to my students right now. What kind of power of attorney are you going to give to AI agent? This is very, very important. But I think, and I trust that we are going to have avatars, some extensions of you in some scenarios. I'm not sure what kind of scenarios, but probably we're going to have. And the challenging point is how to know that we are talking to an avatar or you're talking to a human. This is a specific point that regulation will become directive, like probably it's going to be mandatory to identify or to put some stamp when you are talking to an avatar.
Like a disclaimer or something.
Like disclaimer or something like that. But that's a very interesting point.
Yes, and if you think about it, it can be an extension of the person, or it can be a representation of the person. And I think that, I don't know whether, depending on if it is a representation or an extension, what are the implications. But I think there will be a time it would be good for us to define whether it will be a representation or an extension. Because an extension doesn't separate you from the avatar. A representation, it's quite difficult. It's deep. But
and what if it's just not connected to a human at all? So you have an avatar that's extended, an extension of Marina, for example.
Yeah.
But there is an avatar that's Amy here.
Yeah.
And doesn't have anything to do with any human, but she talks like a human, she behaves like a human, she looks like a human. What are the legal consequences of that? That's interesting.
Would this entity or this thing or have rights? Would it be entitled to protection or Oh gosh, that's
I
not
think
easy.
we will need another round
Yes,
of the global
yes,
lawyer.
yes. Maybe next time. Yeah. Okay, in a year we can do. We
Yeah.
can. We
And
can. We can do
revisit.
it
Deal.
again.
Accepted.
Okay, because I think there will be so much for us to discuss.
Absolutely.
So much will be developed, and I can't thank you both enough for how I can say. Well, it's unfortunate that our time is coming to an end, but it's been an absolute pleasure to step into this studio and explore the rich intersection of law and technology with you both. And you are two innovators, and your insights are rooted in experience and vision. Your insights have transformed today's conversation into a genuine journey across the future of digital justice. And I can say that your insights today, our insights today, will echo in boardrooms, legislatures, and classrooms. To our listeners, the future of digital law is being written right now. Let's ensure it is just, inclusive, and resilient. As Renato and Renata prove, collaboration between generations is key. Let's bridge expertise with innovation. Thank you, folks. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you again in the future. And stick with us. Stay tuned. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. If we still have time, I
Okay.
don't know, but let's see.
Okay, I don't know.
We can cut it, but let's see.
Okay.
Let's bring the real connection for a human discussion and
wow.
artificial discussion here.
Okay, because you recorded. Oh,
Yes,
that's fantastic.
that's the final key points. So, to mind, recommended approach for legal professionals. 6 items, okay? So let's see. Of course, this is generated because of our conversation. So
It built it.
there's a human and machine connection. That's what I trust, what I believe. First, maintain continuous education rather than relying solely on formal degrees. Second, actively engage with AI tools to understand their capabilities and limitations. 3, study international precedents and comparative approaches.
There you
4, focus on understanding principles that can apply across rapidly changing technologies. 5, develop interdisciplinary knowledge spanning technology, ethics, and law. And the last one, participate in conversations about how legal systems themselves need to evolve to address technological change, like the conversation performed by Marina Bevilacqua. And I would like to thank you so much. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate, especially for me as Tata's father. How can I
She's
say
fantastic.
babando?
Drooling.
Drooling, being the side of my...
Very
You
proud.
should.
My
You
daughter,
should.
okay?
You are
Thank you, and I
forgiven.
thank God for all this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you both.
See you in a year.
See you in a year.
Bye.
Bye-bye.